hot wings, hot topics, and real estate. Host Ryan Spellerberg keeps it real with agents, investors, and insiders every month. No fluff, just good convo exploring the trends, challenges, and questions shaping today's market. Now, here's your host with over 20 years of lending experience, Ryan Spellerberg.
They're on fire. All right, Ryan Spellerberg here with another episode of Hot Topics in Real Estate. First time we've had an appraiser. We've got Colin Steen from Honor Appraisals. Colin and I have worked together for a really long time, so excited to get you on here, get your take on the real estate market, what's happening. So have you watched this before? You know how this goes?
Yeah, I mean, bits and pieces. I'm a little nervous on I love wings, but
do you like spice?
I don't hate spice, but like my wife always gives me a hard time. She's the spice girl in our house.
Got it.
And actually my oldest son, but the other ones of us were just like it, That's kind of like my attitude in general in life. I'm kind of that middle of the road kind of guy, but yeah, I love exploring things too.
It gets a little hotter as we go along. Let's go. If you want to try the first one, it's just a medium buffalo. It's just super easy going.
Love it.
But let's really start with the basics. For people who don't know what appraisers do or what an appraisal is, how do you explain your job and why it matters to the home process?
This is my stop.
Okay.
My stop.
God, we'll just quit at this one then. It was a good show. Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Obviously appraisals are an integral part in the whole process. For us as appraisers, 95% of my work is from banks or mortgage companies that hire us to come out and do an appraisal on a home for a wide variety of things. Could be obviously a purchase. And most time people think about that as like, I'm buying a home, I'm financing through my mortgage company or my bank. I've got to get an appraisal done, and that bank or mortgage company hires us. But also, if somebody's got a lot of equity in their home and they want to do some remodel, maybe they want to do a home equity line to pull some money out for updates or whatever may be for their home. Majority of the time, the bank or mortgage company is going to have us come out and do an appraisal on the home so they can pull that equity out of their home to do some home improvements or whatever they need the extra cash for. So we're just kind of that process of like, hey, what's currently, if you were going to put your house on the market, or if your home is on the market, what are we saying that similar types of homes, what are they selling for in the market right now?
Yeah, I get we had it appraised, just to find out a value. Can you just use that? No, we can't. The bank has to order it. You can't have undue influence on us being able to use your appraisal.
Correct.
Unless we order it to make sure that the owner didn't say like, hey, Colin, I need this value.
Right.
That's just changed since the meltdown.
The meltdown in 08. Yep. Yeah.
Got it. Well, thanks for the explanation. Wing 2 is, we've got Nashville dry rub. This one is my favorite. I think you'll like it.
Your favorite, huh?
It's favorite.
All
it's
right.
just a good, nice,
Let's
easy eat. So what made you want to get in the appraisal world, and how did you end up here from like how do you go from Northern State University to here?
Well, ooh, that is a good dry rub. I like that. I did not want to be an appraiser. I had no idea what this industry at all. I think back when we were in college together, it was like, never once did I think like, oh, cool, the appraisal process. I want to get involved in that.
It's sexy. Oh,
yeah. Never knew anything about it. So I've been doing this now for 16, almost 17 years. So when I first got out of college, shortly thereafter, I got into the world of, sports was my life. And so I was with the Sioux Falls Storm for, a number of years. And as I was transitioning out of that profession and that career, all of a sudden I was like, man, oh man, this is an opportunity. I needed to get involved in something. And I had, who is my current partner right now, he all of a sudden reached out through a mutual friend.
Okay.
He was trying to expand into the Sioux Falls market. He's from Iowa, was kind of doing some things in Iowa, but knew obviously the Sioux Falls market and what it was doing and needed a presence there. So through a mutual friend, as I was out kind of job searching and seeing what my next move in life was going to be, this mutual friend connected us to. He explained the industry a little bit to me. He was pretty fresh into it too. He was only, he just got his certified license where he could start mentoring people. So he'd only been in it for 2-3 years. And we sat down over lunch one day. We both kind of hit it off, kind of had different but matching personalities, I would say. Both athletes in our life, love that competitive the competitiveness of anything. And I said, why not? Let's just give it a try. If I don't like it, I'll move on. And man, here we are 16, 17 years later, really enjoying the profession. So.
And your industry is kind of weird because they don't want other people to be in the industry, and they make it really hard for people to become a trained appraiser.
Really hard,
because an appraiser who would then have to train you is going to be your competition later. So for somebody to come in young to find somebody that's willing to train them, that's tough.
It's tough. It's really tough. And I think definitely took it for granted, because after I've been in it long enough and you realize the number of individuals that do want to become appraisers, but that ledge of getting over where all of a sudden you go from wanting to do it, but hey, you've got to have some sort of supervisor to mentor you along the way for those first few years. Finding that supervisor and that mentor is hard, and it's hard for me. And I didn't realize that. So I truly was blessed and kind of lucked into the industry. But we're a young company, and we've expanded our not only territory, but our appraisers, where we have mentored and supervised multiple appraisers that now we have, multiple appraisers that appraise for us in different markets, not only in South Dakota, but Iowa and Minnesota. So
just a hard industry. It's weird.
Very hard industry.
So how's the second one? Good?
Second one, I'd go for it. Yeah.
All right, got it. Next one, hot buffalo.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so let's address what is most important here. We're at Northern. It's 2001. You knew this was coming. So you clearly stole the Homecoming King title from me. Do you want to issue a formal apology, and are you sticking with the story that you didn't pay somebody off to get that title?
Why did I know this was coming up?
I mean, it still bothers me to this day.
Gosh, what's that been? It's been like 25 years ago. Wasn't that 25?
Still burning.
Still burning.
Still burning.
Just like that wing. That one's good though. I don't mind that one at all. Anyways, yeah. But we had a long history, back in the old Northern State University Wolves days. And that seems like forever ago, but at the same time seems like yesterday too. But I don't know how I won. I wasn't paying anybody off.
Dirty. It was dirty. It's funny though, because whenever somebody brings up an appraiser, I bring you up and then one other guy, but I'm like, Colin's a great guy, but I hate him. I just hate him. And it's just deep down, I can't get past it. So
you're not joking. I think I've ran into multiple people throughout my career that our connection is you, and they always bring up that.
I say that back then. Best guy in the world, but I hate him so much. It's just it's a deep burning.
At least, you remember the outfits we had to wear for that? And you look back at I occasionally will still get some people that'll be. In fact, Gypsy Davis was just this last weekend, but I get people that are back there, and our picture is still up there somewhere, and they send me a picture of like, look at what you're wearing. What are you doing?
Like gold something or other from the 70s. They have not updated that.
It was bad.
It was a good time though.
It was good.
Thanks again, cheater. All right. Give number 4 a try. It's a mango habanero. And again, thanks to our sponsor, Atomic Wings. These things are fantastic as always. So as a lender on my side, when I get an appraisal back, I really usually jump in to look at two things. I look at value, and then is it subject to repair, meaning items need to be fixed. So if there are items to be fixed, if it's a safety issue, electrical sticking out, or there's missing handrails, those things have to be fixed.
Right.
What are the most common things that you are calling out as an appraiser, depending upon the loan size or type?
Most of the stuff I call out on is if I'm doing like a FHA appraisal. I'm also VA approved, so a VA appraisal or rural housing RD loans. Those are the type of loans where I'm typically, if I am calling anything out, they're usually those type of loans. So the biggest thing, if I'm doing an FHA appraisal or VA appraisal or RD appraisal, the first thing I'm looking at as I walk up to the home is any kind of peeling paint. Now, I preface with the sense of anything built. A home that was built 1978 or older are the ones that are subject to it, because those are the ones that were using lead-based paint back in the day for painting of painting exterior homes. So any of those older homes, 1978 or older, usually that's what I'm looking for right away. Is there any peeling paint that I got to be aware of? Because that's what we're
by far the number one thing that gets called out. Any FHA government loan, chipping paint on the exterior of the house. Well, why does that matter? Lead-based paint. It's a safety issue.
And I get sometimes the argument, which is rightfully so, like, what if, hey, they took the lead-based paint off and it's all of a sudden it's not anymore? We're like, very well could be, but for me as an appraiser, I have no idea.
Correct.
I'm not a professional. So a lot of times you'll see in my appraisal, what I'll say is like, hey, if it is not lead-based paint and you can determine that, then I'm clear. I'll clear it based on that professional's documentation of analyzing that paint. But typically
They just fix the paint.
it just fixed the paint. Yeah. Yep.
And as an agent on the real estate side, hopefully they know that up front, because when they're walking around the house and they know what type of financing they are and what the client is doing, they should know this is chipping paint. We're going to have this fixed and remedied ahead of time. So shouldn't be a surprise when I get a purchase agreement or a contract that comes back with issues on it. But sometimes it is. If it's a newer agent, they might not know that.
Right.
So,
and then, other big one, I was just at one on Monday, where the individuals, homeowners, they're doing a refi. They just completely gutted and remodeled the home. Beautiful updates. And they do some of the work themselves, but then they left the electrical box downstairs. They left the cover off it. And I was like, and they weren't there at the time, and I couldn't find the cover anywhere. And I was just like, man, all you got to do, put the cover on. Like, because I can't get around it. I got to usually take a picture of the and here's the electrical, box. It's just completely exposed. So I would just say, if you do have an appraiser come over your house, those are the kind of things like, hey, anything that just doesn't look, me as, if any, not like me as appraiser, but if, young kids were walking around, do you want that electrical box opened up to everybody? And so that's one thing I was like, gosh, if they were there and they knew where the cover is at, I could tell them, hey, put the cover on. So as I'm taking a picture of this, I don't have to call it out. And you guys so I'm assuming it was in the house somewhere, but that's another thing I do see every once in a while. People are doing some updates and they just leave, electrical box open. Sometimes too, in these older homes, you go in the basement and you understand why they do it. And they may want to bring some storage or, furniture down in the basement, and they take the handrails off. We see that a lot. And it's just, that's another thing that we're supposed to.
Is it over 3 steps typically?
Yep.
Okay.
Typically over 3 steps.
They gotta have the handrail if it's over 3 stairs, and we see that stuff called out all the time. Even on the garage door, the sensor that comes down to stop it from falling on you, those get called out. Realtors lose their minds over that thing. They lose their minds over it. Like, why is it? It's always been that your child would get crushed underneath there. That's why it's a safety issue.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what they have us. I'm an appraiser, so I'm not like licensed in other things beyond my whatever scope of the work of being an appraiser, but I'm also, that's what I'm supposed to do, is I'm supposed to be seeing things that, hey, if I see that this could be a safety or a hazard issue, we're taught and trained to like just take a picture, call it out, and see if they can remedy it for you, or if they can't, have a licensed professional come over and deem it as safe. For instance, sometimes you get, we go in the basement and there's looks like maybe black mold, but I don't, I'm not a black mold specialist, but for me, I have to take a picture of it and say, hey, it looks possibly, but I would say, hey, let's have a licensed professional come over and take a peek at it. If it's not, then I can at least attach their document to the appraisal and we can move on. But if it is, then obviously it needs to be remedied.
Yeah. So, my favorite thing is, the appraiser said it's up to the bank. Well, it kind of is, but it's mostly not, because if you take 37 pictures of this black mold, we're going to have it addressed. Well, it's up to the bank. Well, if you put a picture in there, we're probably going to have it fixed. So
right.
It is what it is.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, we're on number 5. This is Atomic.
I would say the last one. That was my best tasting. That was really good. The habanero. Ooh.
Again, I'm the dry rub guy.
Okay, all right.
So what was it like being an appraiser during COVID? I mean, there were some major swings in value. The values weren't keeping up with the offers.
Yeah.
That just has to be tough on your side. Now, during COVID, and also what's it like today, where maybe values are holding steady or maybe even some slight declines in different price points?
Yeah. Yeah, that was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. In a fun way. Like, it was, I had young kids at the time too, and I think if that, we were both in the grind and during that time period, and I think if this industry was like that forever, I don't know if I'd be married. My wife would be like, you either need to change a career or we're doing something else, just because it's, it was just absolutely nuts trying to keep up with the pace. And a lot of it obviously had to do with the interest rates being so low, and, everybody was refining. If they weren't refining, they were buying, and home equity line. It was nuts. So anyways, to answer your question, it was interesting. It was a great experience, because it, in the years that I'd been into, I'd never seen anything that kind of rush.
And I don't think anybody around here has ever seen a rush like that before.
Nor if we ever will again, But it taught us a lot. It taught us a lot. We are, as a company, way more efficient. So now if these big rushes do come on, we feel like we're even better equipped to handle. We'll never be able to handle that kind of rush, sure, but at least handle it a little better than what we did at the time, just because we have more. We're just more efficient as a company. The toughest part was values. Yes, it was. It was, one home is selling for 300,000. And then, the next day, the similar home is all of a sudden selling for 315,000 or 300, and so trying to keep us as an industry, we needed that one comp in order to dictate what the market is doing.
Correct.
And so it was just, for us, it was finding that, okay, we saw what it was doing. We knew, seeing what the market was doing, and you guys as lenders knew what was going on, and the public knew what was going on. We just ultimately have to have the data support it. So for us, it was just interesting to try to find that one comp. And a lot of times, and maybe it was if I'm appraising in Sioux Falls, on the east side, maybe, it was maybe a similar home on the west side was my end up
be a little flexible with the distance on the
distance
comps.
on there. That one sold maybe like 2 days prior to I was there, and it really dictated like, hey, this is what the market's doing. Even though I had to pull it from the other side, and then I had maybe another comparable sale that was like a few blocks away, but it sold like 3 months ago, and that's where you could tell the difference. Hey, and where I was able to make an adjustment based on. You see what's happening with even 3 months right now of values. So
probably the one that sticks in my mind, this was a cash transaction, thank the Lord. But I had a client that was buying another house. He was selling a house, McKinnon Park adjacent, not in McKinnon Park, but realtor took it to the absolute top end of the comps that they were available for. They get an all cash offer 4 hours after listing, $100,000 over asking price.
Oh my goodness.
The email that he sent me just said Jesus in the title. He was so shocked, and they sent in their statement showing they had the funds available. Like, that's what was happening during COVID. I can't imagine. Cash sale doesn't matter because you're not doing an appraisal, but trying to keep up with that on the appraisal side.
Oh man,
it was a tough time.
Very tough, and we saw a lot of it. Acreages too was a big thing. Where just man, oh man, values were skyrocketing. People coming in with getting cash offers 50, 60, 70 over ask.
Yeah.
So for us as appraisers, just trying to how do you keep up with the market? And we feel like for the most part we did, but it was rough.
Depends on the appraiser.
Right. We hope so, right?
Some, appraisers have opinions. You could have two appraisers out there on the same day and you can come up with a 10% different value. It's just what they think the market is and what comps they use. So you're human.
Yeah, very much so. And if you looked at it as a appraiser, I think the misconception a lot of people, and that's what we are, we're like, it's our opinion of value. And again, my opinion as appraiser may be different than the next appraiser and their opinion of value and their comparable sales they used. But ultimately, we're data driven. So it's like, if I got the data behind me and I can support my opinions, I can feel good and sleep good at night. At the same time, another appraiser may have a different opinion and have different comparable sales, and who's to say he or she is wrong as well. But it's definitely it was definitely an interesting time. And now I guess to answer your question on moving forward, it's just even today there's definitely price points and there's definitely homes that we're seeing that they just what they sold for 2-3 years ago, they're not getting it anymore. And it's a lot of those townhomes, you see the 2-story townhomes is where I'm really seeing have, what they bought and now what they're able to sell those things for are not the same. So,
and that new construction, they don't want to drop their comp price, so they're giving all kinds of incentives just to keep their price there when they're giving credits back to offset.
Absolutely.
That's a tougher market right now.
Big time.
And we have permitted a lot still in Sioux Falls compared to last year.
No kidding.
Yeah. Okay, you ready for the hot one?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this one is nuclear, which
nuclear. I
lives up to it.
Before that,
it's aggressive, but you'll like it.
All right.
Okay. So you've been doing it a long time. What's the wildest thing you've ever seen walking through a house? Something that sticks in your mind, like what were they thinking, or very unique property?
Gosh, where do I start? I think a lot of it. Yeah, I think one in particular that comes to mind is just kind of more it was in the refi boom of COVID, but it was just what was living in the home. It was just like the basement was just full of feces everywhere, dog, cat, and then just items everywhere, and then the little kids living at home. So that for me was probably the hardest thing to watch.
Yeah, let's have a funny one.
That's
not a great one.
That's not a great one to talk about. But then, I think the funniest one is my partner's got the funniest one that he's ever been to. He's at an acreage, walking down there doing a refi. So the homeowner's kind of walking him around. He walks down into the basement, but it's one of those old acreages, so you got to go outside and go down the stairs from the outside. And she warns him like, "Hey, I don't have a light down there." So he's pulling out his phone or his flashlight, and she's got her phone out and their flashlight. Well, he goes down first, and it's completely pitch dark down there. And you remember, these old farm homes. There's no windows much for anything to give any kind of natural light.
Probably.
Yes. So he starts walking down there, and he said he kind of notices off to the right, like some spray of some sort. Didn't really think any of it. Just kept walking. He walks into the basement. He's kind of trying to check things out with his phone, and all of a sudden he just starts feeling things on his leg. And next thing you know, he's feeling them all over his leg, and he just flips out. What is down here? And he comes running out, and he's got fleas from toes to mid thigh. Full of fleas all over him. And he calls me. Hey, I'm in the middle of wherever he was at. Can you look up on your computer right now? What's the closest gas station with a shower in it? I need to get there right away.
Oh man, I wouldn't get in my vehicle. I don't think.
Oh man, I felt for him. Yeah, he went and threw his clothes away, bought all new clothes right there at that gas station.
You see some weird stuff. I remember back in my first job, it was a national company, so stories would go around on what we would see, and somebody sent an appraisal over, and it's like bedroom with a 400-pound pig laying in the bedroom. You're scrolling through and you come back. Did I just see a pig in the bed? Yep. He's got a pig in his bed. And then once there was a deal in California where the owner would not let the appraiser into the garage. He had murdered his wife in the garage and was trying to do a refi. Like, you just see so many weird things. The longer you do this, probably not as fun as the pig, but right. I mean, just some weird stuff in the appraisal world.
I've been through that. I had somebody had a potbelly pig for a pet, and so they just had to, as I was able to go from room to room, they had to move the pig. The pig hung out in one room, and so they had to move the pig into another room just as they didn't know how it react. But
okay, so maybe pigs in the bed is normal. I don't know. Maybe
no. In my years, I've only seen the one potbelly pig. So, but I say that, then also, like, that's a very cool thing about my job too. I also see some really, really cool, unique. You start seeing, how designs change, and it's just really fun from that standpoint to see. In Sioux Falls, I mean, if you've been doing this long enough too, you're like, man, oh man, remember what you used to get for $1 million?
Correct.
It'd be like, wow,
big house.
Wow. Yep. It'd be like, and now what you have to spend on what you get for $1 million, it's still very nice. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But it is, in a matter of years, it's changed a ton. Now all of a sudden, $1 million home is like, okay, it looks.
I mean, your average custom home is $800+.
Yep.
No question.
Yep.
If you're trying to do anything, and that's why when a first-time home buyer is like, maybe I should build. Probably not going to be making that. Right out of the gate for most people.
Right.
Yeah. So most of the time a bank is hiring you, correct? So you're not getting it from a call, but like, I'm able to refer you a couple of deals when somebody's unfortunately going through a divorce and they got to value their home, or an estate needs somebody to value their home. How does somebody get a hold of you if they do need an independent appraisal?
Correct. Yeah, and we do get that quite a bit. Even sometimes I get done quite a bit of that, where even cash buyers, they're like, even though they're buying it for cash, they just want to make sure that, hey, if I was financing this, it is actually going to appraise for what I'm buying this for, that it would appraise for that. So even cash buyers, a lot of times I'll do appraisals for them. But the name of my company is Honor Appraisals, and so our parent company is called Elevate Appraisals that my partner and I own, and then we use different LLCs so we can get on multiple rotations. So each of our appraisers work under a different LLC, but you can search up Honor Appraisal or Elevate Appraisal, and you can contact us through us that way, because we definitely do private, like I call them private appraisals, where it's, again, 95% of my work is done from banks or mortgage companies that reach out to me, but.
And we don't even get to pick that. That's done independently. So I can't just call Colin like I used to be able to back in the day.
Right. It used to be when I first started back in 2009. It'd even come over on the appraisal report. It'd be like, here's the appraisal order, like here's the address, here's the borrower, here's the dollar we're trying to get to, like on the order. It was just crazy.
You can't even explain the stuff that would happen back then. It was like, hey, I'm on the phone with the appraiser and here's what we're looking for a value. So the changes have happened for a reason. Obviously, it does suck when I'm not supposed to be able to call you and just have a conversation, regardless of value. Just what are you seeing? What's going on?
Right.
But this is obviously off the books, so nobody will see this. Nobody will know that we're having a conversation.
We're not talking about that stuff anyways, right?
Don't worry about it. So.
And especially because you and I have had that relationship over the years. And that's my, when I changed professions, got into this world, like, it's probably not my strongest suit is being like, because this is definitely kind of a behind the scenes, a little more, you see a lot of people that are appraisers I would call them introverts. There's nothing wrong with
correct.
Nothing wrong with that, but that's not who I am. And so it's definitely been a transition when I go know guys like you or other people that are in the industry, and we're not necessarily supposed to talk to each other, but we're not supposed to talk about value. It's
correct.
You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of times you and I have conversation. We're talking about what we stay away from, making sure we're talking about value too.
Never talk about value to an appraiser. So,
yes.
Well, Colin, thanks again for coming. Hopefully, how was the last wing?
Last two were pretty. I really liked number 4 with the habanero. That was good. But
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming.
Learning, so
yeah. So make sure to like, subscribe, do all those good things. Thanks again, Atomic Wings. Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, Ryan.
It was great.
Good to see you. Yeah.